The Azure Depths. After securing the heart of the Golden Sun and exploring the Radiant Islands, Tobian and Nivara set their sights on a new destination, the deep, uncharted ocean surrounding the Golden Isles. The heart of the Golden Sun had revealed a vision. Far below the surface of the ocean lay another ancient power, waiting to be discovered. As they approached the edge of the shore, the sea seemed to beckon them. The water shimmered with an otherworldly glow, and a gentle but persistent breeze tugged at Nivara's golden robes. "It's time," Nivara whispered, sensing the change in the air. Her form began to shift once again. Her golden hair darkened to deep shades of azure and teal, flowing like waves in the wind. Her eyes turned a luminous shade of aquamarine, reflecting the colors of the ocean depths. Her skin took on a soft, pearlescent sheen, and her robes transformed into a flowing gown of translucent, shimmering blue, adorned with strands of silver like droplets of water. She had become the spirit of the azure depths, embodying the magic of the ocean's hidden realms. "The ocean holds its secrets," Nivara said softly, her voice now carrying the melody of the waves. "We must dive deeper to uncover them." Tobian nodded, watching as Nivara stepped toward the water. She seemed to merge effortless with the sea, her new form perfectly attuned to the depths that awaited them. Tobian followed, using a protective charm to shield them both as they dove into the glowing blue waters. The world beneath the waves was unlike anything they had seen before. Strange and wondrous creatures swam around them, giant glowing jellyfish, shimmering schools of fish, and graceful sea serpents with bodies that gleamed like silver. The deeper they went, the darker the water became, but Nivara's presence seemed to light their way, her azure glow illuminating the path ahead. Eventually, they reached a vast underwater city, its ancient spires stretching high into the ocean's depths. The city was overgrown with coral and seaweed, but its magnificence still shone through. At the center of the city was a colossal statue of an ancient sea goddess, her arms outstretched as if guarding the realm below. "This is the sunken city of Akka," Tobian said in awe. "I've only read about it in old texts. It's said to hold the tidal heart, a relic of great power that controls the ebb and flow of the oceans." But as they swam closer to the city's central temple, a sudden current swept through the waters, strong and relentless. Nivara raised her hand, the water responding to her will. She guided them safely into the temple's entrance, where the current died down. Inside the temple, the walls were covered with glowing runes, pulsing with a faint blue light. At the far end of the room stood the tidal heart, a large, crystalline sphere, swirling with ocean energy. It floated above an altar, guarded by ancient aquatic spirits that swirled around it, their forms fluid and ever-changing. "We'll need to earn their trust," Nivara said, her voice echoing in the water. "They protect this place, just like the sun serpents did on the Golden Isles." The aquatic spirits circled them warily, their glowing eyes watching every movement. Nivara stepped forward, her presence calming the waters around her. She extended her hand toward the spirits, allowing her magic to resonate with theirs. "I am of the ocean now," Nivara whispered. "We are not here to take what is not ours. We seek harmony, to protect what you have guarded for so long." The spirits hesitated for a moment before slowly retreating, their forms becoming more translucent as they dissolved into the surrounding water. With the spirits appeased, the tidal heart descended from the altar, resting gently in Nivara's hands. As she held it, a surge of energy coursed through her, connecting her to the very tides of the ocean. She could feel the pull of the waves, the rhythm of the sea's eternal dance. The power of the tidal heart now flowed through her, and the waters around them seemed to respond to her presence. Tobian marveled at the sight. With the heart of the golden sun and now the tidal heart, we're gathering the elements of light and water. But I sense there's more to this journey. Nivara nodded. The sea has many secrets, and we've only just begun to uncover them. As they left the temple, the waters around the sunken city began to stir. Ancient sea creatures that had long been dormant awoke from their slumber, drawn to the energy of the tidal heart. Nivara used her newfound power to calm the waters and guide the creatures peacefully away, ensuring that the balance of the ocean was preserved. With the tidal heart secured, Tobian and Nivara swam back toward the surface, the glow of the underwater city fading behind them. As they emerged from the depths, the sun was setting over the Golden Isles, casting a golden light over the ocean's surface. "We're one step closer," Tobian said, looking out at the horizon. "But where will the tides take us next?" Nivara smiled, her azure eyes sparkling. "The ocean has shown us its depths. Now, we follow its currents and see where they lead." As they sailed away from the Golden Isles, guided by the power of the tidal heart, they knew that the next chapter of their adventure would bring new challenges, new discoveries, and perhaps the final piece of the ancient puzzle they were destined to solve. The sea whispered of distant lands, and the journey was far from over. In a realm where magic hummed in the very air, where the skies shifted colors with each passing hour, and the winds whispered ancient secrets, a wizard artist named Tobian and his shapeshifter girlfriend, Nivara, set out on a new adventure. Tobian, with his robes flecked in paint and his wand often doubling as a brush, had a gift like no other. His paintings did not merely capture beauty, they breathed life into the world. Nivara, with her ever-changing appearance, was his favorite subject. Her ability to transform into different forms, each embodying the magic of the land they traveled, made her a constant muse. Her other passion was collecting precious stones, each one a symbol of a place or a memory of their journey together. Today, they stood at the edge of a vast meadow, golden under the afternoon sun. In the distance, an ancient mountain loomed, rumored to be the home of a mystical gem known as the Heart of the Dawn. The gem, said to be the size of a man's fist, glowed with the first light of the morning, containing the power to control the sunrise. "We have to see it," Tobian Nivara said, her eyes glowing with excitement. Today, her form was that of a tall, lithe woman with hair like rippling flames and skin kissed by golden sunlight. She had taken on the essence of the sun's energy as they ventured toward the heart of the dawn. Tobian smiled as he set up his easel on the hill overlooking the meadow. "I can already imagine how you'll look once we find it," he said, brushing a stroke of golden light onto his canvas, the image of Nivara already beginning to form. "But first, let me capture this moment." Nivara laughed, spinning in the meadow, her laughter mixing with the gentle breeze. Always capturing the moment, she teased, though she loved being the subject of his art. "But I can feel the call of that gem, Tobian. There's magic in it, deep and old." Tobian nodded, his gaze focused on his painting as the colors swirled and danced under his brush. "I believe you," he said. "But we must be cautious. Such powerful magic is rarely left unguarded." As Tobian worked, Nivara walked toward a cluster of stones nearby, her eyes scanning for any signs of gemstones. She had an innate sense for finding them, and it wasn't long before she unearthed a small crystal, glowing faintly with the energy of the earth beneath it. "This one's special," she murmured, holding it up to the light. It pulsed softly, almost as if alive. Tobian looked up, his eyes curious. "What is it?" "I'm not sure yet," she replied, pocketing the gem. "But I think it's a key, a piece of the puzzle we'll need to find the Heart of the Dawn." Tobian nodded thoughtfully, his brush pausing on the canvas. Then let's finish here and continue on. The sooner we reach the mountain, the sooner we'll know. Together, they packed up and began their journey toward the distant peak. As they walked, the air grew cooler, and the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows over the land. By dusk, they had reached the base of the mountain. An ancient path, worn by time and forgotten by most, spiraled upward into the misty heights. Tobian could feel the weight of the magic in the air. The mountain was alive with it, ancient and powerful. Nivara, sensing the shift in the atmosphere, began to transform. Her fiery hair darkened to the deep hues of twilight, her skin pale and luminous, as if kissed by the moon. Her eyes gleamed like silver stars, reflecting the twilight around them. Tobian marveled at her transformation. "You're more beautiful each time," he whispered, his voice full of awe. Nivara smiled softly, her hand resting on his. "And you'll capture it all with your art, won't you?" "Always," Tobian promised. As they ascended the mountain, the path became more treacherous, the air filled with whispers of forgotten magic. At last, they reached a hidden chamber carved into the mountain's side. Inside, resting on a pedestal of stone, was the heart of the dawn. It was breathtaking, a massive gem that glowed with the light of the first sunrise, its facets catching the light and reflecting it in a dazzling array of colors. Nivara felt its power, ancient and eternal, calling to her. Tobian, standing beside her, reached for his wand brush. "Hold still," he whispered, his eyes fixed on her form as the light of the heart bathed her in its glow. Nivara, sensing the magic coursing through the gem, began to shift once more. Her hair turned to molten gold, her eyes glowing like twin suns. Her skin shimmered with the light of dawn, and her gown became woven from the light itself. Tobian captured every detail, his hand moving swiftly over the canvas as the image of Nivara in her new form took shape. The magic of the heart infused his painting, and for a brief moment, the world seemed to pause, held in the balance between light and shadow. When he finished, Nivara stepped forward, her hand hovering over the heart of the dawn. "It's beautiful," she whispered, her voice filled with reverence. "But its power is not for us to wield." Tobian nodded, understanding. "It's enough to have seen it, to know it exists." With that, they turned and left the chamber, leaving the heart of the dawn undisturbed in its ancient resting place. As they descended the mountain, the first rays of the morning sun began to peek over the horizon, casting the world in a golden glow. And so, their journey continued, each step bringing them closer to new wonders, each adventure deepening their bond. But Tobian knew, this was only the beginning. There were countless more treasures to discover, countless more moments to capture with his art. And with Nivara by his side, the world was theirs to explore. The Enchanted Festival. The sun had barely risen over the horizon when Tobian and Nivara arrived at the vibrant town of Eldoria, known for its annual Enchanted Festival. Eldoria was famous for its magical celebrations, where the air sparkled with enchantments, and the streets were alive with music and lights. Today, Nivara had transformed into a vision of celestial elegance. Her appearance was that of the spirit of the Enchanted Festival, her hair a cascade of shimmering stardust, her eyes deep and luminous like the night sky, and her gown a flowing tapestry of midnight blue adorned with twinkling lights resembling distant stars. The festival's magic seemed to resonate with her form, making her seem like a living constellation. As they walked through the bustling streets, Tobian admired how Nivara's transformation seemed to blend perfectly with the festival's ethereal atmosphere. Colorful lanterns floated above their heads, casting a soft glow, while magical performers danced and sang, their costumes bright and fantastical. Eldoria looks even more magical than I remembered, Tobian said, his eyes scanning the festive scene. He had brought along his sketchbook, eager to capture the enchantment in his art. Nivara smiled, twirling gracefully among the crowd. The festival is known for its ancient magic, she said. Legend says that once every 100 years, a rare artifact known as the Moonstone Prism is hidden somewhere in the town during the festival. It's said to have the power to reveal hidden truths. Tobian's eyes sparkled with interest. A hidden artifact? That sounds like a perfect adventure for us. As they explored the festival, they came across various magical booths and displays. One booth showcased enchanted mirrors that reflected not just appearances but also glimpses of one's heart's desires. Another offered potions that granted temporary magical abilities. Nivara stopped at a stall filled with beautifully crafted gemstones and crystals. Each gem seemed to hum with its own unique magic. These might be clues, she said, examining a display of precious stones. Perhaps some of them are connected to the Moonstone Prism. Tobian watched as she expertly picked out several gems, her fingers brushing over them with a practiced touch. You have an uncanny ability to find the most intriguing stones, he remarked. Nivara grinned. It's a gift. Plus, I feel that these stones might lead us to something important. As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the festival, the main event was about to begin, a grand parade celebrating the magical history of Eldoria. The streets filled with crowds eagerly awaiting the spectacle. The parade was a dazzling display of lights and magic, with floats representing different magical realms and ancient legends. Nivara, her form glowing with celestial light, fit right in among the parade's fantastical creatures and performers. Suddenly, a commotion erupted at the far end of the street. A large crowd gathered around a mysterious figure, a masked magician performing a spell that seemed to have gone awry. The magician's hat spun wildly, and sparks flew out of his wand, causing a minor chaos. Nivara's eyes narrowed, and she turned to Tobian. I think something is off. Let's investigate. They pushed through the crowd and approached the magician. Tobian noticed that the magician's wand was not an ordinary one, it was engraved with symbols that seemed familiar. Is everything all right? Tobian asked, his gaze fixed on the wand. The magician, a tall figure cloaked in deep purple, looked flustered. I'm afraid not, he said, his voice muffled by the mask. I was trying to perform a spell to reveal the Moonstone Prism, but something went wrong. Nivara examined the wand and recognized the symbols as ancient runes related to the Moonstone Prism. The spell you're trying to cast is connected to the artifact we're looking for, she said. Let us help. With a nod, the magician handed over his wand. Tobian, using his own wand as a brush, began to sketch the runes in midair, attempting to correct the spell. Nivara stood by his side, her energy merging with the magic as she focused on stabilizing the enchantment. As the spell began to take shape, the air shimmered with a soft glow, and a new path revealed itself among the festival's lights. The path, lined with shimmering lights and twinkling stars, led toward an ancient, ivy-covered archway at the edge of town. The Moonstone Prism is hidden beyond that archway, Tobian said, his voice filled with excitement. Let's go. With the path now illuminated, they followed it through the archway and into a serene garden hidden from the festival's revelry. The garden was filled with magical flora, their petals glowing softly in the moonlight. At the center of the garden stood an ornate pedestal, and on it rested the Moonstone Prism. The artifact, a crystalline gem, glowed with a soft, otherworldly light, casting delicate rainbows around the garden. Nivara approached the pedestal and gently lifted the moonstone prism. As she held it, the artifact's light intensified, revealing a hidden inscription on the pedestal. This inscription, Nivara read aloud, tells of a prophecy. The moonstone prism will reveal the heart's true path when the night sky is at its peak. Tobian sketched the scene with quick, precise strokes, capturing Nivara's celestial beauty as she held the moonstone prism. The painting shimmered with the artifact's magic, capturing the moment perfectly. As the night deepened, the moonstone prism's light gradually dimmed, but the garden remained bathed in its serene glow. The festival's magic seemed to echo through the garden, creating a harmonious symphony of light and music. "We've found it," Nivara said, her voice filled with satisfaction. "And it has revealed the true path of our journey." Tobian smiled, looking at Nivara and the moonstone prism. "Indeed, it has. And who knows what new adventures await us next." With their latest quest fulfilled, Tobian and Nivara returned to the festival, their hearts filled with joy and anticipation for the adventures that lay ahead. As they danced beneath the starlit sky, their bond deepened, and the world seemed to open up with endless possibilities. And so, their journey continued, each step leading them to new wonders and magical discoveries, their hearts forever intertwined in their shared adventures.